Hello everyone, this is Val from ShipHero. I'm here today at our Palm Beach warehouse. In this warehouse, we do a lot of pre-kitting, assembly, FBA prep, and I'm very excited to show you a feature we have out called Work Orders that will make this whole process a lot easier. With our Work Orders feature, you'll be able to upload a work order with instructions, attachments, images. You'll be able to print out barcodes for your custom SKU, your assembly SKU. You'll be able to track every step of your process through your timeline. You'll also be able to charge your clients straight through work orders with 3PL billing. All right, now let's take a look at what this feature looks like in ShipHero. All right, let's take a look at creating a work order. As you'll see here, we are on our work order dashboard. From this page, you see a lot of useful information. You'll see any of your existing work orders, the warehouse. If you have multiple 3PLs, you'll see which 3PL was assigned. You'll see the type of work order. For this version, we support two types of work orders. An assembly work order, which is creating your kits, your FBA prep stock. We also offer a custom work order, which I'll show you later on in this demo, which allows for an uploading of instructions. It's pretty much a blank slate, allowing you to submit a request. You also see here the requested date, the date that you would like this work order completed by. The scheduled date, which is when the warehouse is set to work on this work order. This is great internally for working through a queue and determining which work orders you want to start and when, and dividing up your workforce in order to complete that task. You'll also see very quickly like the order status. You'll see which ones are in progress, which work orders are being picked, which ones are being assembled, as well as anything that is completed or canceled. Over in the actions item, you'll see there's different icons. The first icon shows you when the work order was being picked, the next one when it was being assembled, and then when it was being completed. We support filters for the order status, so if you only want to see work orders that are in progress, that are active, you can set your filters to only show in progress work orders and hit apply. And as you'll see, the canceled one is removed from the view. All right, now let's take a look at now creating a new work order. On the top right of your screen, there is a create work order option, which will lead you to a very straightforward step-by-step guide of creating your work order. If you're a 3PL, work orders are created on the client level. The reason being is clients generally submit these work orders to their 3PL for the work that they need done. If you're a brand account, you would create your own work orders, and this first step would be omitted. In this demo, we're taking a look at the 3PL flow. So in this case, I'm the client, and I'm going to be submitting a work order to my warehouse for some SKU that I need built. So first, I'll choose which 3PL I would like to work on this work order, then which warehouse I would like them built out of, and then the requested date. So for example, if this work order was needed for a restock at a big retailer by the end of the month, I would want all of these assembled before that end of the month. After choosing your requested date, you'll be able to select continue, and it'll ask you for a work order name as well as a work order type. For this example, we're going to take a look at an FBA prep work order. This is an assembly work order type because we're going to be putting together these SKUs for the FBA. After naming your work order and choosing your work order type, select continue. This will bring you to your select item page. When you choose this select kit option, you will see your different assembly kits. Each work order can have one assembly kit. When you expand each kit, you'll see the different components needed for this SKU as well as they're on hand. For this example, we're going to build the first assembly SKU on top. So I will select that, hit select. Then I'll be asked how many of these I would like to create. You'll be able to see your on hand, which will give you a good guide on how many you can build. For this example, we're going to build 100 of these SKU. There's an optional configuration. This can be, for example, one body wash, one face wash per kit. This will also be visible on the next page, but it's a good option for a note if you need any sort of special configuration for this work order. After hitting continue, you'll be prompted for additional instructions. These can be packing details as well as specific assembly details. Packing details can be including filler paper or special tape. Assembly can be as detailed as you would like it to be, or these fields can also remain blank. We'll type in an example together though. If typing is not really your style, as you'll see on the next page, you can also upload attachments. This is great, especially if this is a work order that you may do more than once. You can have all of the instructions saved in a file. You can have a PDF with pictures of how you would like this assembled. You can upload a picture of the box assembled as a reference of what it should look like when it's done. You can upload labels or a special barcode or an extra insert. Anything that you may need for this work order, you can add as an attachment here. Don't worry if you forget any, you can add attachments again later, which I will show you later in our demo. But this is a great option to upload those instructions so that you don't need to type them out in the earlier stage. When you're done, select Create Work Order. This will send your work order to your 3PL. Your 3PL will then be able to review it and then determine if this is something that they are going to assemble. So hit Create Work Order. Work order created. All right, now we're gonna move forward to the 3PL side. Okay, we are now in our 3PL account. This is what your warehouse manager will see when they come in. They'll see their work orders, they'll see the statuses, and anything that's new and it's awaiting approval will also be highlighted. The work order that we just created previously is this one down here for our FBA prep restock. As you can see, it's awaiting approval with a requested date at the end of this month. So we're going to click into that. From here, you're going to get an overview of your work order. You'll see what they are requesting, how many kits, the kit requirements, how many of each component per kit is visible. You'll see any instructions that they included as well as any attachments. You'll see the timeline for when this work order was created. You'll see the requested date. And as you can see here, you can also add your own attachments. After reviewing if this is something that your warehouse has the time and the workforce that they can tackle it, you can mark it as in progress, meaning you've approved this work order. When you mark it as in progress, you have the option to leave a note. This could be as simple as just saying that it's approved and putting the name. Everything is tracked in the timeline, so this is an optional field, but feel free to leave as many or as few notes as you would like. All right, so this is now in progress. Now we realize work orders aren't always done right away. This is requested for the end of the month. Based on your workforce though, you might not be able to start working on this for a few more days. That's why we have a scheduled date option here. The scheduled date is the date that your team can start working on this work order. This is an internal date for you to be able to prioritize when you want to work on different work orders. It's very common that you're going to have a lot of work order requests coming in from different customers. They need an FBA stock, they want a kit assembled. So you need a way to queue these up. The scheduled date will help you do that. So for this example, we'll set our scheduled date. Hit save. You'll be able to assign pickers as well as your packers to track who is working on this work order. As you see here, we have an option to add ad hoc charges. If you're a 3PL, this is going to be a game changer. Here you're able to add a charge to bill your client for this work. When you hit add new charge, you'll see that we have a few options here. You can bill per hour. You can bill per unit. This can be of the different components that you picked or the final assembly SKU. You can also put a bill for the whole work order. If we choose per hour, you can track how many man hours you spent working on this work order, as well as the rate. You can also add multiple charges, so you can bill per hour, as well as per unit. And when your work order is complete, this will automatically sync to 3PL billing, and you can charge your client. Going back to the main screen, just to show the scheduled date portion. When you are prioritizing which ones you would like to work on, you can see which of your scheduled dates is coming up and which work order you would like to start. We're going to continue with our example. So let's say it's the next day and we are ready to pick this. We're going to now mark this work order as ready to pick. Again, you can add a note. This is optional, but a good note example could be, starting picking or ready to move. All right, this is now in your ready to pick status. The next step is to choose which location or locations that you would like to pick your components from. Over in this section, you'll see it says assign. When you click assign, you'll see all the locations that this component exists in. Choose which location or locations that you would like to pick from. Hit add and complete this process for the rest of your components. And hit save. Your to create quantity is set. However, we understand things happen. You may have a case where maybe you need to create some more, or maybe the inventory wasn't what you thought it was and you need to create less. At this stage, your to create can be edited, in which case your to pick quantity will automatically be adjusted as well. You'll also want to choose a staging location. So this is part of our work order feature, and we think this will really streamline a lot of the process. What we'll do here is we're going to pick each component, and then we're going to move everything to our new staging area. This is all done within ShipHero. All the inventory movements will be tracked, inventory will be deducted from the locations that it's picked from, and it will be moved to the new staging location. So let's choose a staging location. This location could be any location in your warehouse, though we generally suggest that it is a not pickable location. All right, we've selected our staging, our locations, our on hand is good, our amount in location. A thing to note about the in location here, this is taking into account allocations. Generally, large work orders will be picked from a non-pickable bin, which is supported. So other orders shouldn't really be allocated, but in the event there are other allocations, the in location will take that into account and deduct that amount. So you're not picking things that are already allocated to another order. Next, you're going to want to print your picking sheet. Here you'll see your picking list, your location to pick from, your lot codes, your quantity, as well as a start time. And then off your team will go to go grab all of these items and move them over to staging. This can be edited at this point, again, at any time, in case while they're at that location, you need to switch the location. You can still do that. And you can reprint your pick sheet as needed. Once everything is on hand, you're going to want to mark this as assembly in progress. This is a big step because this is what's going to tell ShipHero we are deducting the amount that you picked, the 100, from each of these locations, and we are now moving all of this to the new staging location. Once you've picked your components, you're now going to move this work order to assembly in progress. This step is going to deduct what you picked, so 100 of each of these components from the locations that you chose, and move it to your new staging area. So I'll be moving my body wash, my face wash, as well as my bags into our project staging 2. This location is not replenishable, not pickable, and not sellable. All right, we'll hit mark as assembly. Again, an optional note option. All right, as you can see, there's some changes now. At this point, the inventory has been moved. So everything here is now in your staging area. In the event that you need to put things back, it would be a process using our put away, which is a separate feature. But for now, everything is in staging. Your team will go to your staging area and start to build these assembly SKUs. This is where the work outside of ShipHero picks up, because they're going to need to take their body wash, their face wash, put everything in the bag, and following the instructions. The team can download their attachments for any of the images they need to see. They can print out any sort of insert that they would need, and they'll start putting these together. As they complete their kits, you will come into the system and you can mark as many as that has been built. You don't need to build them all at once. We realize this can take time. If you have to build thousands of kits, it may take you a week to build all of these. So as you finish each of your assembly kits, you'll mark how many were done, and then you can transfer them to a receiving area. So this receiving area, you have a lot of options. One use case could make this like a transfer location, like a cart, in which case you'll take your now completed SKU, put them there, and then you can go put them away into pickable locations. This receiving area can be the pickable location directly if you just want to go drop these off where they can be picked. Once these are received, you can start selling them, you can start fulfilling orders, the SKU is done. What will happen is each of the components will be deducted from ShipHero out of the staging area, all automatically, and then your completed assembly SKU quantity will increase by the amount you input here. So for our receiving area, we're just going to use a receiving location, hit save, and hit transfer to. This is going to move your completed assembly SKU and do the transfer for you. All right, as you'll see here, 5 of our 100 kits have been built. Obviously, a new kit is going to need a barcode. That can all be done from this screen. You hit print barcodes up on top, choose how many barcodes you would like, and hit print. Now you can barcode your assembly SKU and get those out the door. From this screen, you are still able to make edits. For example, if this work order was taking more time than you thought, or the assembly was more complex and you wanted to add additional charges, you're still able to do that from this screen. Everything is being tracked. When we receive those 5, it shows in the timeline. And you're able to make modifications to your date, your pickers, and your packers as needed. Once you're done with all of your assembly kits, you can mark your work order as done. Once you have all done, you'll see that your counter turns green, meaning your work is done. You'll also see you'll be no longer able to do any more transfers because we've completed all of our components in the staging area and we finished our work order. At this point, simply hit mark as done. You could leave a note, say maybe QA approved, or a manager signed off that the work was done, and hit mark as done. Your work order will now show as complete. That was creating a work order on the client end, as well as receiving and building our work orders on the 3PL end. If you have any questions or need any additional information on work orders, please check out our knowledge base.